Why does sperm quality matter for getting pregnant? What can you do if you find out there are issues? And how can you persuade your partner to come along for the program if this is something that you want to incorporate into your overall fertility plan? I'm Dr. Natalie Masson. I'm a psychologist specializing in the mind body connection and providing support to women and couples on their fertility journey. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about sperm health and why that matters and what to do if you may have issues in this department. Why that matters? Well, it takes two parts to create a human being, and that is the sperm and the egg. So both of these need attention. Issues can happen on either side. There can be issues around the number of sperm and the quality of them. How do they swim and what shape are they so that they can get to the egg the way they need to? I'm not a medical doctor. I'm not a urologist. I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty around sperm health, but I'm going to be talking to you from the perspective of mind and body and how the mental and emotional things can also play into the physical factors. I'm going to be sharing also in this video about some programs that I'm developing to help reduce stress for both men and women that can help to support your fertility. So let's talk about a couple of background things that I want people to be aware of before they get down into the details. And if you're having trouble conceiving, the first thing that I want everyone to do is make sure that you understand how to track your fertile window so that you know when that 4 to 5 day period is during each cycle when having intercourse is likely to lead to a pregnancy. So this is something that sometimes couples just aren't aware of, and they're actually missing that optimal timing. So you can always download my TTC Essentials Guide, which I've linked below, and that gives you the basic information that you should know kind of going into this. Now, if you've been trying for many cycles and you've been hitting that window and things aren't happening, I do recommend following up with some testing to find out if there may be some basic things that are going on. And one of those areas that I encourage testing sooner than later is sperm quality, because you can lose a lot of time looking down at a lot of other avenues when actually there could easily be something going on the male side. So when you have that kind of testing done, there are standard tests that they do for sperm quality, and there are some more specialized ones, in particular sperm defragmentation. Now, this is one that I believe there's a little bit of controversy around whether this is a thing that ought to be tested and how often that really is an issue that relates to the ability to get pregnant. It's not a very expensive test. It's something like $250. And if I were in these shoes trying to turn over all the rocks, I would just get that testing done too, along with the others, to see if anything comes up. I do have personal friends who went a long way around the block for a year or two during fertility treatments and then found out there was a defragmentation issue, had that addressed, and now they have 3 children. So they could have saved a lot of time by doing some simple testing on the front end. Now, if it does turn out there are sperm issues, sometimes it could be something structural that needs addressing, like a varicocele. It's some kind of vein that goes through the testes in the wrong place that I think maybe overheats things and causes damage to the sperm. And that can be addressed surgically in some cases. So it is important to follow up with specialists, medical specialists, to see what they can bring to the table. And I always encourage multiple consultations to see what the common recommendations are for your situation. Now, once you clear out those medical things, we're left with a whole bunch of factors that it appears can impact sperm qualities, and these are lifestyle factors. Now, my specialty has been on improving egg quality, because this is a path I had to explore myself. I had gone through 2 miscarriages at age 45, and they were due to poor egg quality, which is common at age 45. And I was able to spend some time working on some things in my own health and then had a successful natural pregnancy after that. So I've done a lot of digging around to see what can help other women who are facing a similar egg quality issue. Sperm health is not my specialty, but I've done enough looking around to notice that the things that I've found are likely helpful for egg quality are commonly recommended for sperm quality as well. There are some things that are unique to the male side, like avoiding overheating of the testicles, which could happen with hot tubs, which could happen with certain exercise, cycling. There are a handful of things that men need to be careful about to keep that area cool, not overheat their sperm, and so things that are just really about sperm quality. But once we clear those out, there are some supplements that are recommended for sperm quality. I won't be getting into that area because, again, that's not my specialty. But then all of the lifestyle things, nutrition, exercise, self-care, decreasing stress, all of these things are very similar to what I've seen in the female side of the fertility research. So I want to address this area and how this might play into your partner's situation, and then how that plays into your relationship. Oftentimes, the women in the partnership are the ones that are more focused, motivated, and proactive about dialing in the fertility stuff to get to a pregnancy. And sometimes the male partners are just kind of along for the ride. But if you discover that there is a specific male issue, this becomes a unique kind of challenge about how to invite and encourage participation in moving forward with kind of your joint fertility program, if you will. So I want to highlight how important I think it is to address these stress issues, not just because, let me show you, I'm going to pause for a second and show you some research. I linked it in the notes below, but there's a research study looking at a lot of different research on lifestyle factors and sperm health, and there are several studies on stress. And here's one where, and just printed out one of the pages from the research. This is a rating of perceived stress from the subjects, how much stress they're experiencing. And this is various factors related to the sperm. So concentration, motility, morphology. You can see as perceived stress goes higher, for those who reported higher stress, we're seeing lower quality on these different sperm factors. So there is hard data to suggest that there's some kind of connection there. And whether or not the stress might be directly affecting the sperm, there are also ways it could indirectly affect it, such as sometimes people use substances, sometimes they're smoking cigarettes, smoking marijuana, using alcohol, many things that are definitely known to be damaging to sperm. They may be doing these things because of stress, because those things help them cope with stress. So when we can address underlying stress issues, sometimes those other vices, those unhealthy coping mechanisms just fall away because we don't need them, because stress has gone down, because we've found ways to deal with the stress in more effective ways. Now, when you look at recommendations for improving your fertility for the women and for the men, what I commonly see is sort of a list of all the ways that you could change your diet, supplements you could take, and then these lifestyle factors are just kind of ticked off. Okay, go get some exercise, make sure you're sleeping, decrease stress. And it's just thrown out there as if decreasing stress is something that you can just go buy at the store and start taking. But as a psychotherapist and somebody who has been teaching decreasing stress throughout my career, I can tell you that it's not something that you can just get off a shelf. It's not an instruction that you can just take and apply and boom, you've got your decreased stress. It takes a little bit of finesse and knowledge and know-how to understand effective ways to decrease stress. And that is my specialty. And I've been developing these programs to reach people of all kinds to help teach really deeply effective ways that are actually not that hard to bring your stress down. And it's a little different than the common teachings. It's not just a straight, be quiet and clear your mind, think happy thoughts. There are a lot of simplified versions of how to feel better that frankly are not very effective. So I have a lot of pretty sophisticated but not difficult methods that I teach. But I think that oftentimes reduced stress is casually listed as something that people should do, but then nobody really focuses on it because most people don't really know how. It's kind of frustrating when you don't know how, and there's just not a good guideline for how to go about this. So, really, when you know how, there's so much that you can do, and there's so much benefit that can come. I'm going to be telling you about some programs I have that I offer that can be helpful for both men and women in bringing your mind and body into alignment, reducing stress so that you can have as healthy a lifestyle as possible. Now, I want to come back to the notion of if you discover there is an actual sperm quality issue, or maybe you're just wanting to work on everybody being as healthy as possible for general wellness and fertility, I have a few suggestions on how to address this dynamic within your relationship. It's not always fun when your significant other is telling you what you ought to do, what they want you to do to improve a situation. So I think it's something that we should take a little bit of time and care with because it's important to take care of your relationship and have harmony together as much as possible. So I have some specific suggestions on things to consider when you want to address these issues together with your partner. The first one is to not focus so much on sperm and fertility per se. If you can focus more on general health and wellness for the betterment of your longevity, your happiness, your health, that is a little bit less threatening, and it doesn't create that dark cloud of negativity around the whole fertility process for the two of you. The other thing is if you can focus on the us and the we rather than the you, and you need to do this, I want you to do this, but how can we be in this together? How can lifting up ourselves and improving our health be something that we adopt and support each other on as a couple, as something um, collaborative that's part of us being on a team together? A third possibility is to focus more on yourself and what you can do, and how, when you're doing positive, healthy things, people around you might find that that's something that they would like to line up with, that they might choose to do. In my fertility programs for women, we do a lot of self care and meditation practices. And oftentimes, the partners start to take interest because they see that their partner is feeling better, they're more relaxed, they're glowing, they're happier, and they're doing these self-care things. And I say, maybe I should get in on some of that too. So they start doing these things together. And that's a very natural, organic way for this kind of healthy collaboration to happen. I have a workshop on improving egg quality, and one of the little bonus features in there is a diagram, a graphic illustration of a heart with all of the different things in it that you could be doing to improve your health and your egg quality. And all this stuff, frankly, applies to sperm as well. This could be something that you print out and you put it on your refrigerator as a reminder to yourself. And other people in the household might look over that and go, oh, okay, let me see what I can check off that I'm doing here. So there's little ways that by, being the change that you wish to inspire, other people might just choose to come along and join you. Another recommendation is to provide some basic information and education, but sometimes not coming directly from you. If you can find a book or a website and allow your partner to access that and read that on his own, so it's not coming from your voice, it's coming from someone else's. Somebody in our program read the book on egg quality called It Starts with the Egg, and it has a chapter about sperm quality, and she simply handed it to her husband and invited him to read it. And when he read that himself, he became more motivated and interested in making positive changes for himself. And then the next tip I have is to, after you've done these things, your you've shared your ideas, you've invited collaboration, and you're coming to it from a positive direction, then to respect this other person's autonomy. That they are a separate person and we cannot control what someone else chooses and the way they go about it. So this is where your own Zen practice comes into play, letting go of trying to control somebody else and respecting that they can make their own choices and kind of trusting them to find a healthy path for themselves. So I really discourage anything that could feel like nagging, things that feel like shaming, and encourage more of a positive invitation to things that could really be beneficial and pleasant to get involved in. Maybe there's some physical activity if you could both stand to get some more exercise, something that could become part of what you do together. That brings me to my upcoming 7-day chill out challenge. It's a very effective 7-day program for decreasing stress. And I've been doing this within my fertility audience for a year and a half now. It's very effective, and people really find it fun and transformative. And I've recently opened this up to a general wellness track, which is for men and women who are just wanting to focus on general well-being. So this is something that your partner could potentially opt into while you're doing, if you'd like to do the fertility version. You could do the TTC version and he could do the wellness version, and you could be on your separate tracks doing it together. Now, when I offer this program, I sync it up so that everybody's going through it at the same time. So I offer this program approximately every 2 to 3 months. The next one is going to be April 19th. If you're watching this on replay and that time has passed, you can sign up for the wait list and catch the next one. But that is something that we did a trial of in January to see how it went. And some partners went through that and really enjoyed, doing that for themselves, and also being able to connect with what their partner was doing. So if you do want to sign up for that, that's going to be on Friday. The deadline is Friday, April 16th, and the program starts on Monday the 19th. Now, I really don't want you to be pushy with your partner about doing something like this. You can just gently suggest, hey, there's some neat opportunity going on. Maybe we could do this together. And if they say no, just let it be. You can do the program yourself, see how it impacts you. And then maybe they'll say, hey, that's pretty cool. Next time, maybe in a few months, they'll be open to it. So, give a gentle invitation, just share ideas and inspiration, and let the other person be their own person and trust their path as well. One other thing I want to mention, if there are known sperm issues, is to do testing periodically if you're working on making these lifestyle changes, because then you can kind of see evidence, and it can be very motivating to see how he can make these changes and see results. And if it's not changing, that's information too that you want to keep looking for what has not been addressed that can be added into the mix. So if you're interested in my 7-day chill out challenge program, I have links to that below this video. I also have several free downloads that you can access. And if you're interested in those programs, the time has passed, just join the wait list and catch it on the next time around. Please let me know in the comments below if this has been helpful for you. What are your most valuable takeaways? Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to hear more from me, and I wish you all the best.